And now time to revisit one of our top stories. Is Ukraine ready to agree to peace, which it could be offered? What better person to speak about how Ukrainians are approaching the discussions revolving around the peace plan and what's next for the country than Serhiy Prytula, founder of the Serhiy Prytula Charity Foundation. Thank you so much. It's an absolute pleasure to have you back in the studio.
Thank you.
So, as peace negotiations continue, Ukraine undergoes constant attacks. We see that every night, day in and day out. Power shortages, human loss. How long do you think Ukraine and the Ukrainian society can hold on living within the war reality before it makes a decision about whether or not to agree to the peace that it is presented?
Exactly, peace. Look, we are staying strong previous 4 years, and Russia tried to destroy our critical infrastructure, to destroy our unity inside Ukrainian society, but we're still strong. And of course, we're bleeding every day, and we suffered, but we understand that this is not just Putin's war, like some people on some of our West allies call it. That's the war not for some territories that Russia want to take. They have a lot of territories. They are the biggest country in the world. That's just a war where we have only two choices. One, to save our state, our independence, and another one to disappear, or to be a part of a Russian world. That's the same, that like to disappear as a nation, Ukrainian. So that's why everything very tough, everything complicated, but I think that Ukrainians will never give up, and we will fight anyway. And we are very happy that our European allies, they still stay strong in the case of supporting of Ukraine. Because of course we all are a little bit disappointed because of some policies and some messages from Capitulation, from United States. And we feel this disappointment because our allies, they push on the wrong side.
What do you mean?
I mean that it's really very easy to push on the Ukrainian president and the government to do something more in the case of negotiations with Russians. But no one from Ukrainian side will not put the signature under some statements, under some points where we have no justice, for example. So we talk about justice, peace. And if Russia said that that you need to forget about all the war crimes and no investigations about the war crimes that Russia made in Ukraine, so no one agree with that in Ukraine, and no one want to let to just make a gift in the case of some territories of Donbass or some other regions of Ukraine.
So with how the deal is playing out as of now, we started with 28 points that were drafted. We know that there were some changes being introduced. We know that 2 points in the actual plan are a bone of contention, so to speak. Would you consider this to be a peace deal or a capitulation for Ukraine?
It's a hard question because I'm not a person that involved to negotiations. So I'm not in the process, and I really don't know exactly some things that only a few persons from Ukrainian side know and few persons from US side know. But I understand only one thing, that nobody in Ukraine cannot imagine that we can capitulate, and that's why our president, I hope, will fight around every point. Doesn't matter, 28, 19, 10 or 5. But it's about the dignity of a nation, it's about the dignity of the state, and it's about the surviving of all Ukrainians. So my own opinion is we don't care about the number of points that we need to discuss with...
It's about the substance.
It's about that we all understand that only one power that we have can stop Russians or can have some new messages to negotiations. That's Ukrainian armed forces. because doesn't matter which way we'll speak our partners and allies with Russians. But we saw it in the previous 4 years and many years before that any deals that we sign with Russians, it's not work. Any memorandums that we sign with Russia, it's not work. They cancel everything that they can. Why? Because they feel the power.
So this wouldn't be peace. This would be time out for Russia to regroup. Is that what you're
And that's exactly what our closest neighbors need to think about it. That because it's really absolutely terrible thing. 1 week ago, Putin in Bishkek, he said that if Europe wants, we are ready to fight with Europe. We can launch the war. A few days after, Medvedev, absolutely drunk as usual, he wrote a statement that if European Union will take our Russian frozen assets, so we will come and take it by some things. So they don't joke, guys. They're really preparing themselves to fight with Europe. And that's why all opportunities that you have to support Ukrainian armed forces and Ukrainian society. So please use it, because we are defense shield not only for Poland, but for all other countries who cannot imagine all the terrible things that can happen if Russians will launch the new big war.
But from what you see, you're obviously involved in the help in the front line and certain weapons delivery, for example, drones. There is that technology. Based on your experience, do you think that Russia has enough potential and enough power to be able to attack NATO?
Yes, for sure. And exactly, that's not about they are so powerful. They're not so powerful like somebody can imagine, because they are fighting around Pokrovsk for 1 year and lost dozens, thousands of troops there. But guys, I have a bad news for you. EU armies, EU forces are really weak, and they have no any type of experience of a modern war. And they waste 3 years from a moment when Russia started full-scale invasion to the moment when J.D. Vance made his speech in Munich in February of this year. So the time between was wasted. Now everything changed in Europe, and we can see how everything moved in Germany, in France. We have a lot of different missions in Ukraine with military from Nordic countries, from West Europe, from Great Britain, United States, Poland, of course. But it takes time to get some experience from Ukraine, to train your people, to train not only your military, but also your civilians. Exactly. My foundation, we created and developed the biggest network in Ukraine of centers of civil awareness. Because if you have such a huge challenge like a war, so it doesn't mean that military fight, everybody else just
They're not sitting on the sidelines. They're being directly affected by everything that's happening. That's why it's important for civilians to also have that awareness.
Yes, exactly. And some trouble that we have in Ukraine, we can find solutions. And exactly my mission now in Warsaw, I'm visiting Warsaw this day because I have a lot of meetings with some businesses and some communities to raise money for Shahid interceptors. So we have technologies how to shut down Shahids. They are very dangerous drones, and they can destroy some buildings or critical infrastructure, and they kill people in Ukraine. And one day, a few months ago, 20 Shahids, they visited Poland, as I remember. And that's my message to all our supporters here in Poland. If you don't want to have guests like Russian drones in Polish sky, so please donate for our initiatives in Ukraine to shut down Russian drones in Ukrainian sky.
Let's shift gears, because our time, unfortunately, here on the program is coming to an end. When it comes to President Zelenskyy, he's been the head person when it comes to providing backup for his country and standing as a person, a representative to Ukraine on the international arena. When it comes to the president, would you say that he still has the support of the people? How is that looking in Ukraine from your perspective? And do you think that there are going to be elections held soon? And if so, when?
We need to separate some things. First of all, I need to say that, of course, a big number of Ukrainians, a big percent of our society, is very disappointed because of different corruption scandals in Ukraine. It's absolutely horrific during the war, such terrible things. But if we talk about foreign affairs, and our president is the person who have contacts with all allies and partners, so we all support him because he's commander-in-chief and our president. Nobody blamed him because of some negotiations that maybe we don't expect some good results from them, because we understand that we have business with Russians, exactly, and that's like to have negotiations with with, I don't know, with death, for example. And we have no any trouble with the legitimation of Zelenskyy after his first presidential term was finished, because more than 50% of, more than 50%, I think about 65% of Ukrainians support him as a president of Ukraine during the war. After the war, when we will have some elections, I don't know, maybe
So there is an unwavering support in Ukraine as of now for President Zelenskyy?
Pardon?
An unwavering support for President Zelenskyy in Ukraine right now?
We have, of course, some part of people who try to explain to Mr. Zelenskyy that his time is finished and he needs to go away, but who will provide the negotiations? We cannot have elections during the war.
Exactly.
So that's why, as we have a parliament to the end of the war, and our president will stay on his mission to the end of the war. Our business, like citizens of Ukraine and supporters around our country, so just to support Ukrainian armed forces and to hope that that negotiations will be success from all sides.
Thank you very much. Serhiy Prytula, founder of Serhiy Prytula Charity Foundation. Thank you for joining me for World News Tonight. And so this would be all for now. Thank you for joining us. I'm Klaudia Czerwińska, and I hope to see you back here on TVP World in just a moment for more news and features. Good night.